All right, that should be dramatic enough for you. As usual, don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to presume you do or can. I have the air conditioner going, which is quite a lot of background noise. And I guess I have able to get the live chat going, so you guys can actually communicate with me this time. This is, as the title suggests, Kernstown, Virginia, March 23rd, 1862. This is a scenario that I pulled from the Battle Cry game. It's a quick, cheap, well, I don't know about cheap, but it's quick and easy way to have a quasi-official scenario set up for you so you don't have to do any research or randomly set up folks. So Kernstown, Virginia, the rules that I will be attempting to implement are the black powder rules. I won't be house ruling anything. It'll just be the black powder rules. And for this, we have, for the Federals, we have James Shields as the general. And for the counterfeits, we have Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson. Background of the scenario is as such. Jackson's Valley Campaign of 1862 was arguably his finest. His small army, which never numbered more than 17,000 troops, won 5 of 6 battles against 3 enemy forces totaling 33,000 troops. The largest group included 23,000 soldiers commanded by Nathaniel P. Banks. Confederate forces in the valley sometimes marched 35 miles a day and became known as Jackson's Foot Cavalry. They repeatedly outmaneuvered Union forces and succeeded in tying down more than 60,000 Union troops. The first battle of the campaign took place at Kernstown. Some of you might be familiar with a small truck stop there in Kernstown, Virginia, or a rest area. That's about all I know about Kernstown, Virginia. Hearing that the larger part of Banks' force was moving east, Jackson advanced against what he believed to be the Union rear guard. The 4,500 Confederates under his command had actually attacked elements of Shields' division, which had almost 9,000 troops in the vicinity. And I will add that for an Army commander, Shield as a name is, you can't get any better than that. As the Confederates reached their position on the left at about 4:30, it became apparent that the enemy was present in greater numbers than expected. Garnett fought against mounting pressure until about 6, when with ammunition running low, he ordered the Stonewall Brigade to retreat. Although a minor defeat for Jackson, the battle achieved its strategic objective of pinning Banks' force. Victory is 6 flags, so that means 6 units will need to be knocked out. That could consist of cavalry, infantry, or artillery. That is the... I have an untied shoe. I'm going to pause for effect here and tie my shoe, lest I face plant into the table, which I have not yet done, but I wouldn't rule that out at some point. Where's my pointer, Happy Deer Dicky? All right, this guy here we have. Oh, also, okay. We've got some Confederate cavalry here with a commander and some infantry with an artillery battery. Now, here's the rub with this battle cry stuff, right? So you're going to need to know who, what comprises a particular unit, thus corresponding to a leader. So that is something you do have to take liberty with. So what I've done is make this stuff here coincide with this leader. I guess you could call them blue, and then purple. So we have 3 divisions or units or whatever. Going here, here, and here, coinciding with this leader. And then we have the green, which is a small unit of 2 infantry units coinciding with that leader. Then here we just have, and the way this is because the number of leaders that is used in the scenario I do adhere to, although I do add an overall general or commander of the whole shebang, which is here for the Federals and here for the counterfeits. I mean, no disrespect to any Confederate enthusiasts out there. I think it's funny and clever to call them counterfeits. It's probably not. Then for the Union, we have cavalry here and here with 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry units commanded by this gentleman here. And then the other guys, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry units and 2 artillery units commanded by this gentleman. So command will be interesting for the Union because of the way the rules work in Black Powder, and you'll see that in a second. But I can definitely tell that the Confederates have the advantage command and control-wise. So Confederates go first, and as usual, it's always slow to start until I get the feel of things, and then we'll steamroll forward. I am just using the basic Black Powder rules. Now there is a supplement that goes along with the basic Black Powder rules. I will not be using that. That is what is it called? Glory Hallelujah is what that is called. There's some interesting stuff in there, but it's not something I'll be looking at today. And that is this here, another wonderful free PDF. I probably shouldn't be advertising that. But I didn't. That's a joke. That was a joke. That wasn't a free PDF. All right, so let's hop into this, and we'll start with this guy here. I've had to do a little bit of distance translation by way of movement and range, as you'll see, to coincide with the hexes. And also the Black Powder rules are for 28 millimeter. This is the epic stuff, which you can technically just divide it in half, but I've tweaked it nonetheless. So here we go. First things first, I will find the command section and see how that works. Command here. All right, and this guy, let's see, this guy being, we have 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to rewrite the command ratings for the general so they're better understood. So Union, Confederate. So it's going to be 9, 8, 8. And then 8 and 8 for the Union. All right. Let's roll some dice. We got things to bear in mind now when you do this. If you're within a certain proximity to the enemy, that's going to affect your command roll. And for those of you that are Black Powder connoisseurs out there, try not to cringe too much. I'm going to screw a lot of things up here, but bear with me. Which is not something I have to worry about, the being close proximity, because we still got a heck of a distance yet to close. Also, as you can imagine, distance of the commander to the unit he is trying to command will affect your command roll. So as he has a command of 9, I'm going to roll 2 dice. I get an 8. However, you subtract 1 for each hex distance. So since he's not stacked with the cavalry, I have to subtract 1, which means 8. I rolled an 8, so that is good. Now, what does an 8 allow me to do? You can move up to 3 moves, depending on what you roll. Now, because I rolled equal to the command, I can do 1 move. And 1 move for the cavalry will consist of, let's see, 2 hexes. And we'll just put them right here. Nothing overly complicated there. These are some great looking cavalry guys, by the way. The second wave of stuff that Warlord released. I had to pick them up. I was using a boatload of commanders for my cavalry, but glad to have bona fide actual cavalry, so they're done. I will also add that if a commander fails his command roll, he's done, regardless of whether or not you've activated everybody under his command or not. There's a couple of ways to go about that. If you want everybody to move up with the same order and they're all adjacent, you can issue a single command and try and do it that way. And probably better than risking continually individually activating and potentially losing command control and ending your turn. So they're fine. Now we're going to move, and the commander can't move until he's done issuing orders. So as much as I'd love to close the gap here, that's how it is. So where he is a 9, that would be 8, and that makes 7. So I need to roll 7 or less. And I think if they were in, there's line and column effects in here, and I think if these guys are in columns, that would better suit my needs. But again, that's the way the ball bounces. I got a 7. So again, 9, 8, 7. Still good to go. I got 1 move, command move, which puts them right up against the fence, which is where we want to be. That should be 6, right? 9, 8, 7, 6. I doubt I get that. Oh, I did. No, I didn't. I just missed it with a 7. So that's the end of his command. Now I can move him up to a lot. He's got a 6 hex, which I think is far too generous a range. Or movement, rather. We'll put him right here. Now, I like being able to command somebody very far away, even though the likelihood of it happening is slim. I like that in general, that being, don't tell me he can or can't do something, just make it so it's more or less likely to do the something. I like that better. They're done. Now we move to purple. Let's see what purple is, an 8. Purple's an 8. So we can try and go, let's try and move this infantry unit up. We'll need to roll 7 or less since he's not adjacent, and I got nothing. I got an 11. Again, on one other thing I failed to mention, if you roll double 6s on your command roll, it is a blunder, and that creates some chaos in the game, and you'll roll on the blunder chart to see what happens. Units can go left, go right, retreat, you never know. So that's the end of him. He sucked. Mr. Green is going to have 7 or less. He got it with a 7. That's 1 move, and for infantry, 1 move is in fact 1 hex. Yeah, so where do I want to, yeah, so let's move them here. Say hello to purple leader. We'll have no bearing on the green. Being adjacent to a commander, being adjacent to the overall general affects command So there's that as well. All right, let's see if he can continue with another 7 or less, and he did not. So that's the end of Confederate movement. Nobody is within range to shoot, so there's no point in messing with that. The range for this is going to be, I'm considering everything rifled musket, so it's 3 hex range. Just out of range here, and yeah, then nobody's in range. And then for smoothbore artillery, we're talking 6 hex range, so we do have those guys within range of that. This guy has trees and troops blocking him, so let's roll for this guy. Let me check my sequence of play and make sure I'm not jumping, forgetting. Sequence of play. Command, shooting, handing. All right, so let's go ahead with the shooting here. Shooting to hit modifiers. Shooting, let's see. Smoothbore artillery, is that what I said? 40, yeah, we're good there. I gotta figure out how many dice I roll for that, because I don't recall. Looking up rules, command, firing. If I remember correctly, the number of dice assigned to a unit that is firing relates to its size. Or I'm wrong. So range fire, when to shoot. Yeah. Pick a target. Alright, the number of dice rolled equals unit shooting value with the following additions. Shooting value, so yeah, large unit, small unit, tiny unit. Typical shooting value is 3, so most units roll 3, unless, again, it's a large unit, a small unit, or a tiny unit. So we're going to roll 3 dice, and what am I looking for? Dice scoring 4 or more indicate that the shooters have inflicted a hit on the target. So let's see if that's the case. I got 4 and a 5, so that's 2. If any dice scores 6, the target automatically becomes disordered. I did not roll a 6. So what? If any dice score hits, 2 hits. Morale saves. Every unit has a morale value as part of its profile. The values are measured in blah, blah, blah. Most units' values are 4 plus for a poor unit. So we'll roll 2 saves on these. I need a 4 plus. I saved 1 and the other's a hit. So I think the hit is going to affect stamina. So, 3 dice. Take morale. So the player simply rolls dice for each hit. If the unit has suffered 3 hits, the player rolls 3 dice. If a dice score is equal to or more than the unit's morale value, then the hit is disregarded or saved. If the dice score is less, converted to a casualty, and appropriate markers placed next to the unit. Casualty markers represent men killed or wounded. Seem to recall something with stamina. I don't think this is just a straight hit. Still looking. I write it down here. Roll 3 dice. 4 plus is a hit. 6 inflict disorder. Saves 1 die per hit. Each roll equal or greater than the target. Morale negates 1 hit, so shaken once you're taking casualties. Equal to its stamina. Oh, okay. So they're calling it casualties a hit is a casualty which is deducted from your stamina. What is the stamina of that unit, you ask? That is a good question. Something I should probably already know. I believe I did at one time and since forgotten. The stamina of that unit. I'm going to find that. I'll save shaken casualties. Okay, standard or stamina value is 3. That drops to a 2. What do I want to use to represent that? This. Straightforward. It's not pretty, but it's straightforward and easy to read. So anybody that is not marked as full stamina, obviously this guy's not. He lost a point, so he goes from a 3 to a 2. Now a drop that goes back to the Union turn. You know what? He couldn't fire because he wasn't activated, right? No, they can't fire. Okay, I'm good. So the only thing you need to do for command-wise, rolling for command, is to move. You do not need to conduct anything to do with command when it comes to firing or hand-to-hand. That's automatic. I like that as well. To think that somebody's not going to fire unless they're commanded to do so when somebody's coming at you is a little far-fetched in my opinion. So yeah, that works for me. This episode again sponsored by Topo Chico. That does not need to be there. Termite wing. Formosa termite wing because it is termite season. All right. Enough of that. We need to go over here and deal with this. So 2 dice. So I'm going to try and, I'm going to try and conduct a brigade, an entire brigade command move. It won't affect these guys because they're, well, yeah, it will, actually. Let me brush up on brigade command, but I think I can roll for that over there instead of rolling individually for each one because I want them all to move up anyway. Which... not sure if that's the best idea, but command. Okay, where's the free move? Follow me, rally. I don't see it. Where is it? Command orders. A few words. Brigade orders. A brigade commander can issue the same order to any or all of the units in his brigade, so long as all the units form a group with none more than 6 inches apart. So again, for my purposes, they need to be adjacent. Adjacent to what? To each other? To the commander? Let's say command chain type deal. So I'm rolling for all of them and be given the same order, right? So you need to say also, which I haven't been doing, when you, before you roll for your command, you need to say, assuming I was playing with an opponent, you need to dictate your order before conducting your order. So you can't wait and see what the die roll is before deciding. So what I want to do is move, let's play it safe and just see if I can move 1. And I think it's just a normal roll. It's important that the brigade be given the same order, blah, 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 blah. Rule, do something else, use your brigade order. The player simply indicates which units will receive the order and tests the usual way. He is an 8. Which units rules are in test? All the units are in receipt of the same order. A little foggy here, but I'm going to go ahead and say 7 or less, and everybody's good. I got a 3. So that's good enough for 3 moves, which is awesome. Said I only wanted to move 1, though, so if you want to be fair, I should only be able to move 1, right? Let's be fair. So 1 move for cavalry will be 2 hexes. Let's go ahead and move them 1, 2, and not cavalry. For the love of God, people, please stop saying cavalry. It makes me want to die inside. I don't always pronounce things correctly either, but Jesus, can we get that right? Just that one? Cavalry? I probably sound like a grumpy get off my lawn guy, but it's not hard. Cavalry. Not cavalry, not cavalry, not Calvary. Nothing to do with Jesus. It's cavalry. All right, I'll shut up. They're moved. Cavalry. There, I said it again. I said I wasn't going to, and I did. That was fairly beneficial. Now, another thing I'll add, I don't know if I've already said this, is if you want to shoot, you can't move more than once at a time. So there's that. If you move 2 moves, if you move 3 moves, you negate your ability to fire stuff. So if you see a wild boar coming at you, you can't fire at it because you've moved too far. There's that. Try to keep track of what I'm doing. You guys check my math. I get talking and I forget what I'm doing, even though I'm doing it. My mind goes away. And Commander can now move, but I want him. Well, how far can 6? Is that what I said? He can move? Jesus. Again, that's awful generous. 1, 2. I don't see how anybody would ever be out of command with such a healthy movement allowance for commanders. So that's something to bear in mind. Blue is done. And they can fire, right? 1, 2, 3. So those 2 units will be able to fire in the upcoming fire phase. Let's move to red. You know, I did so well with that last brigade order. Let's see if I can do it again. There's also initiative command move, but you need to be, for cases of this in particular, you almost pretty much need to be adjacent to an enemy unit to take matters into your own hand and move. It's kind of a backup move command. So let's see if he can do it. 7 or less. Can he do it? He cannot. That was awesome. He's done. Nobody moves. Nothing's within range, so they're just sitting there doing nothing. But if we go to back to these guys, what does the fence do for anybody? Anything? Let's look at terrain. Target is in target. Target is with buildings. I'm going to call that light cover. And that's going to affect your morale save if and when the time comes. So 3 dice, if I remember correctly, and we want 4 pluses. Right? Yes. 6s are automatic disorder. Firing for this guy here at this unit here. Here we go. We got a disorder. Essentially, everything hit. We did get a disorder. We'll mark it as such with that. Now he needs to roll for the disorder as well on his morale save, or just the casualty, potential casualty hits. I have to verify that. Rules. Under shooting, morale saves every unit, blah, blah, blah. for each hit inflicted. Well, technically that's 3 hits, so I'm going to go ahead and roll for each one, so that's 3 rolls. We need each roll greater, equal, or greater than the target's morale negates 1 hit. What did I say the morale was? On their side, right? So it's 4 plus. Any modifiers here? Yes, defense. So 4 plus. That makes it 4 plus. So that's 1 that I missed. I got that one and I got that one. So he drops to a 2 because I missed 1. But the fence did help him. All right, and he's disordered. Now these guys can fire as well. Wanting a 4 plus. So again, 6 is no. I only got 1 hit. Let's see if we can counter that. He did. So just that's the extent of what's going on there. Obviously, nobody's close enough for hand-to-hand, so it goes back to Confederates. Now, one thing I'm particularly fond of that is not used in this rule set is the chit pull, quote-unquote, mechanic. I do like the not knowing. The you go, I go thing's fine. I go, you go, I go, you go. But to take the predictability out of that, it's kind of fun to have a kind of chit pull system. So for instance, with this, I would take a blue, a purple, and a green Confederate shit, put those 3 in a cup, and then a blue and a red Union shit, put those in a cup and draw 1 shit at a time. So you could have blue go, then purple go, then green go, then Union red go, and it kind of breaks up the monotony and the predictability. And I prefer it that way, but I'm not doing it like that because that's not how Black Powder does it. And I'm being faithful to the rules for once, which I have a hard time doing. So we're back to the Confederates, and the first step in the sequence of play is command, but there's a kind of rally you can do, which I think I want to do with him if possible. So disorder can occur as a result of shooting or during close combat. Blah, blah, blah. Units become disordered. Remains disordered until the end of its own turn. So here's where I was messing up. This guy's disordered, right? I was reading that as the end of a turn. So when the Union was done, I would have in the past taken that off. That's wrong. That stays until the end of their turn. So that stays. Is there anything I can do about the reduction in their stamina? So casualties during the game, blah, blah. Shaking. Once a unit is taking casualties equal to its stamina value, it is shaken. So that's not going on. I would need to take 2 more casualties, and then I'm now shaken, and then I can, okay, so we're good. Nothing I can do there, but I need to try and move now again. So that's, again, he's a 9. Here would be 8. To activate this cavalry unit, we need a 7 or less. So 2 dice. If I fail this order, I'm done with all the blues. 7 or less, I got a 5. Very good, very good, very good. I think that's 2 moves. If the score is equal to the commander's staff rating or 1 less, roll a 5. He's a 7. If 2 less, 2 moves. Fairly straightforward. I don't know why I have so much trouble. 1, 2. Put him right here. I lost the guy. I finally gave in, and I have to fix this. I finally gave in and based everybody. I mean, it looked cool setting them up on the table without bases, but it was becoming a challenge because some of them were falling over and whatnot. So I went ahead and based everybody. I didn't base anybody on a cool terrain looking. I just used the straight stock plastic that came with the damn game. I didn't feel like messing with it, but it takes a lot of the pain out of what I was doing. Even though it looked cool, it was just too painful to mess with. All right, very nice. Even when I got 2 moves, I only moved 1. But you know what? Let's move 1.5. And again, I didn't say ahead of time what I wanted to do, so bad on me. There's some cool hand-to-hand that should go on there. Let's see what this guy can do. Now, when you activate somebody, try and activate somebody that's in disorder. I thought that affected something. It does not. Okay, if you say so. The fact that this unit is disordered has no effect on his attempt to command them. You say so. I don't need them to move anyway, so hell with it. 9, 8. See if we can roll 8 or less. Sure, we got that. We rolled a 7, which equal or 1 less is 1 move. So these highfalutin city folk can move right up here and be fence advantage. On ASL would be wall advantage. They can claim fence advantage. Let's take this guy here, see if we can move him 8, 7 or less. No problem. No problem. Manhandle that Artie. Not that I necessarily even needed to move it, but I did. Again, claiming fence advantage here. Everybody move. That's great. Only 1, so they can still fire because I moved 1. These guys aren't firing, so can you still conduct hand-to-hand if you moved? That's silly if you can't. I mean, it's cavalry. Let's go to purple with a command rating of 8. You'd think I would start stacking my commanders in the same hex, and so I don't have that silly-ass reduction for at least 1 unit. That's what I'll do there. So now they'll get the straight 9. They'll get 8, 8, and that would be 5 or less. Jesus. Well, I don't need them to move anyway. What am I doing? Purple? 7 or less. 2, 3, 4. That's 3 moves. I only need 1. Put them right there. And you could argue that the ability to command this unit would be interrupted with the woods, but I don't think that has an effect. So 8, 7, 6 or less on them. But do I want to do that first? I'm more likely to fail doing that than this. So let's do this first. So 7 or less. Probably fail anyway. Now I got it 7. Move them up. Now let's try this 8, 7, 6 or less. I doubt I get that. Ooh, I got it 6. So pull them up. You know what? We're going to pull them right into this woods here, so we can claim fence advantage on the next turn. And then we can move this guy. We'll move him right here. Start stacking these commanders with their units, so we'll get the full benefit. It's like not chewing your food enough. Green. What's green gonna do? Green's gonna. Again, also 8, so that's 7 or less. Let's try him. 7 or less. He got it 6. He can move 1. So what is my overall opinion fiddling around with this black powder rolls? A lot of people, it gets criticism from folks the black powder stuff. One of the main criticisms I heard from a pretty prominent, respectable source was, it's just rolling dice. And I've said this before. Yeah, it's rolling dice, but you're not just rolling dice. You're rolling dice for a reason. So unless you know what you're doing, I guess you could call it just rolling dice, but you're really not. I like the not knowing how far you can move. And in these types of games, when everything is a little too, again, predictable, it takes the fun out of it. And not knowing how far you're going to be able to advance, I like that. And then the effects of combat are a little different, at least for me. I kind of like that. Other than that, it's all, pretty much more the same. So 8, 7, 6 or less on that. Reroll that. I got a 4 and a... No, I missed it. No blunders yet. Let's pull him right here. Stack him with that. So that's that. Anybody? Yes. We've got 3 units here that are going to fire, and then a hand-to-hand here. So let's do these first. GM's Alco, hey, buddy. I always like black powder. Well, a lot of people do. And again, I think it gets a little, maybe it gets some unfair criticism because it's so popular. It's like the rock group that made it big, and everybody hates them now because they're so well known now. And I wonder if that's that way with black powder and Warlord in general. There's a lot of haters out there because it's so, you see so much of it, which is not necessarily a reason to hate something. All right, here we got 3 dice coming at them, and artillery shooting. Nope. So this being disordered, does that affect something? Yes. No. Yes. So here's what this is disorder. One of the places in which disorder comes into play is shooting. So whereas normally we would roll, well, we still roll 3 dice, but instead of 4+, now it's 5+ because we're disordered. Who are we shooting at? That's a good question. I lost my pointers. I wonder if this helps you guys if I just leave it. Shooting there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I need 5+, and I got nothing. That's the way the egg rolls. They're disordered. That makes sense, I guess. Let's try and pick on this unit here that has already lost 1 stamina point. They're still going to be 4+. Shooting modifiers. Can't. No. No. Okay, so it's just 4+ again, and we got 2 hits, so let's try and roll those off. And they rolled, what do we need? Each roll equal or greater than the target morale negates 1 hit. So target morale is... Negates 1 hit. I rule check again. I just had a brain flub. Trying to narrate, play a game, and that whole thing. Play both sides. Where's morale at? Morale, so here's your morale value across profile. Four plus. So I didn't make it. Is that what they're telling me? Units each roll equal or greater than target negates 1 hit. No, I didn't get that. So he is now, based on what I just read, he is now, and this is a disorder. I'm gonna need something else for disorder. This is this guy's now shaking. So that's what red will mean. Red will mean shaken. Gray will be disordered. That's how we'll do that. So he's got issues. And then this artillery unit here should be a modifier for that. Artillery at over half range. Well, his range is 6 hexes, so that's not applying. Artillery shooting at column or square, no. And not close range. So it's again, it's just 3 dice. 4+. That's 2 hits, no disorders. Can they roll off those hits? Save modifiers. 4+. However, if you're hit by artillery fire at close or medium range, it's a -2 on your to save roll. I'm glad I saw that. So where it's normally, what, 4+, now it's going to be 6. No, it's still 4+, but you add 2 to the roll. So here, let's just roll it, and we got 1 save and 1 not save. So now he's -1. Is that what that would mean? Because if you're run out of stamina, which their stamina is 3, and then you take another one, you have to account for that. So there's that. And then our hand-to-hand over here. So this guy could potentially be lost when we roll for him. We'll see what happens. This guy over here. What do we got here? Hand-to-hand. I don't think there's, there would be what, closing fire you have to mess with. We'll say they're charging. It's 3 dice, 4+, but again, we'll say they're charging. So it's just 4+, and we got nothing. You serious? No. We're good. We got 2 hits. We would have got nothing, but because we're charging, we got something. Now I understand that you didn't get a whole lot of cavalry charges going on in the Civil War, but I'm gonna house rule and allow it here and say they're straight up charging that other cavalry unit. I got 2 hits. Let's see if they can shake it off. And they shook 1 off. Well, 5 and 3. The 5 is definitely shaken off. I keep forgetting what their morale is. Why is this so hard for me? I ask myself, would I watch myself do this if I wasn't doing this? I imagine this is fairly boring for some folks, and that's probably why they're not watching. Let's see. There we go. For most of 4+, so I'm re-rolling it because I got confused. So I saved 1. There's no combat results modifiers, so I saved 1 and did not save the other. Now is this hand-to-hand simultaneous? He drops from a 3 to a 2. I don't think they get to fight back until their turn. Let's check that hand-to-hand. Both sides resolve any. Okay. Let's go ahead and roll for them. And remember, you don't have to roll a command for them to do so. It's just for moving. So makes sense. They'll fight back. They're not going to wait and be commanded to do so and just get beat up. They're going to do their thing. Now we needed a 4+. We got 1 hit. Let's see if we can shake it. We shook it. So they're fine. Does that mean they're locked in? Let's check hand-to-hand here real quick. I seem to recall being locked in hand-to-hand, so there'll be a modifier. Look, what am I trying to say? All right, so here's the deal. Hand-to-hand combat. Now, combat to hit modifiers. You get a modifier if you won the last round of combat. I'm going to say the Confederates won that round because they took no casualties and the Union troops did. So I need a marker to represent having won that round. What would be a good marker? Let's grab this box off camera here and see if we can find a fun little. Oh, not that. Here's a fun little. I don't even know if you can get these anymore. Everything's so. What's the word? Sensitive, politically correct, or sensitive, screwed up. We'll use this Confederate flag. Oh my God, racist. To represent having won the last round, so I can remember for the next hand-to-hand round. That brings us to the Union, right? Because there's nothing else going on I can do here. Brings us to back to the Union side, and I'm not going to issue a brigade order because I don't want everybody to move. I'm just going to want some folks to move and, well, some folks not to move. Also, we have this unit here that is screwed up, shaken and bacon. What is the deal with that? When you're shaken, a unit can blah, blah, blah. You see, again, what I was saying earlier, a unit can suffer more casualties than its stamina value, which we have a case in point there. And you're only keeping track of that for purposes of calculating break tests. So let's find break tests, shall we? Well, when do we take a break test? How do we take a break test? And you would think that would be, see, so here's my problem with what I've already mentioned with the rules. You've got to flip through all over the damn place. There's stuff spread out. It should all be confined to the same section. Morale, combat results, break test should all be in the same section. They shouldn't be spread out everywhere. So that I have to make you guys wait, like figure what the hell's going on. I haven't paid much attention to formation in this game, but I guess there's that free rally order. There's a rally order. Oh, rally order is, I understand this is different from a break test, but see, I found this and I wasn't looking for it, but successful rally order enables unit to remove casualty markers and restore much of its fighting spirit. So you can issue, I could have issued a rally order here. Union can try and issue a rally order here and regain that stamina point. But priority-wise, we need to figure out how we're doing a break test there. So break test. Quick reference. Do you need, no, that's just a move. So you will test if excess hits suffered from shooting, yes. And there's 5 cases in which you would conduct a break test. I definitely have to do that. So what is this? Just one die that you roll on the break test? The break and the test and the break and the test. Break test. Break test 76. That's after commanders. So the rules I have also don't have page numbers because this is also a PDF. Here we go, break test. Test from shooting. Unit is shaken. Let's just blah, blah, blah. Become shaken. After each turn shooting is complete, units must take a break test. So I should have taken a break test at the end of it. We'll just say that's what we're doing now. Test by notes. How do you do this? Test by break test. Roll 2 dice. Add the scores together. We roll a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Deduct 1 for each excess casualty suffered by the unit. So that becomes a 9. And then what? Roll a 9, and the result is if the unit is infantry, then it holds its ground. The unit remains where it is and will continue fighting in the following combat round. Nope, that's for hand-to-hand. For shooting, the unit holds its ground, stays where it is, and does not move. So do I lose these markers here? Yes. Any casualty markers scored in excess of stamina value are discarded once the test is taken. A unit never has more casualties than its stamina value once break tests have been taken. So, what does that mean? Does he just stays? Well, he doesn't stay shaken, does he? My understanding is that he's back to what he needs to be. All right, so what about a morale test? How are they going to test morale if they're in the middle of hand-to-hand? That guy can't move. I have to remember that. He cannot move. No move for you. Help me remember that. So the next thing I want to do, he took a break test and he did fine. What I want to do now is a rally and try and get a stamina point back, but I don't know if I can do that if he's in the middle of fighting. So now I have to determine that. Rally, morale save, shaken. So remember when I found that rally thing by accident earlier? And it's not where you think it should be, and I will never find it again. Rally order, found it. There's another useful rule. A successful rally order enables you, so you do have to order it to do so. However, you need 2 or more casualties. I only have 1, so I can't issue that. All right. Let's just try and move. So he has an 8, 7. I want to try and get this guy moved up. I know it's a bad idea, but God, that's a really bad idea. Why am I doing that? I'm not doing that. Not yet. Let's do here, because if I fail, then he's done. So 7 or less there. Let's just do that. And he barely got it. I want to try and swing them around to here. And then 8. There's another. Can I get a 7 or less on him and pull him up in the woods? Probably not. Nope. He's done. That's it. Failed. They're done. He cannot move, but he can fire. So these 2 guys can fire, and this guy can do hand-to-hand. Fire. I'll teach you to burn. Fire. To help me remember. This helps me remember. I got stuff going on. And damned if I won't forget. Let's go back to here with this uselessness. Move him. I'm moving him here. Call me crazy, but I'm moving him here. All right. He's also an 8. Let's go for that 7 there. 7 or less. Move up to the hill. Man, he got. And I'm not declaring ahead of time what I want to do, so I got to remember to do that. This is silly. So he only gets one move. I need to start doing that. 7 or less for the one behind him. Let's see if we can keep it going. Nope. He failed, so he's done. See how brutal that can be? And they only have 2 commanders, so it's just like that, half of the union's troops are stuck. Whereas when it's broken up with 1, 2, 3 commanders over here, if you have one fail, you still have 2 other commanders handling a smaller percentage of the overall unit, so it's just better. Irregardless, which is not a word. Is it a word? Irregardless? Irregardless? They can fire. They only move once. So we have units that are going to be firing, and we have that continuation of hand-to-hand over here, and I'm going to call it. Unless you guys go, because it's a beautiful day out, and I need to go be out there. Not in here. 1, 2, 3. So let's start here. Firing here. They are in a fence. Well, when does the fence come into play? During fire or shooting? Morale saves. That's for the morale saves when the fence comes into play. So we'll roll 3 dice. We want 4 plus. We got to hit 1 hit. He's going to want to roll a 4 plus, but he's by the fence, and 1 plus 1 is 2. He only rolled a 2. He needs a 4 plus and we rolled a 2, so he didn't get it. Drops down to a 2. Now let me make sure that commander being stacked with him did not add to their save. No, you could argue that it should, that a morale save should be, you should get a modifier if you're stacked with a commander, but it doesn't allow for winning rules, so that's a bone of contention for me. All right, these 2 guys, 1, 2, 3. Let's fire it. Let's fire here because they're already down a stamina point. 3 dice at 4 plus. We got nothing. Yay. Not a damn thing. Same here. 3 dice at 4 plus. Ooh, we have a disorder. He's already disordered. Wait, that was supposed to come off at some point. That was supposed to come off at the end of their last turn, but he got disordered now, so it comes back. And that is 1 hit. Does he save that hit? Well, he rolled a 6, so I'm going to say yes. Yeah, he saved that all day. But he is disordered again. And then finally, this hand-to-hand combat deal over here. Now, there's going to be a modifier when the Confederates strike back because they won the last round. Until then, it's just 3 dice, 4 plus. We got 2 hits. Can we save those 2 hits? We saved 1 of them, and 1 we did not. So that 3 drops to a 2 as far as our stamina value. And then we'll fight back with 3 dice, 4 plus. We got a disorder, which is cool. And we got that bonus for winning the last hand-to-hand round, which is an interesting modifier. I don't know that I'm overly familiar with that being a modifier in games. Where is it? Did I just make this up? 1 last round of combat, +1. So I rolled 2 1s, so even with that modifier for winning the last round, it doesn't help me. And he saved. So who won the last round when it's equal? They both. No, that's not true. I took a hit and he saved. So the Americans, and I just flipped this over to the handy side, the Americans won. No, he got disordered, right? He got disordered. So yeah, who won the round? Let me check that. Because that's going to be a modifier that is going to affect. There's one final thing, y'all. It was an pretty much even result, so. Regardless of these modifiers, the 6 is. I need to brush up on the hand-to-hand rules a little bit better. Probably all the rules. I'm not going to make you guys wait, but I need to determine who was the victor in that round. And also with this hand-to-hand stuff, did I do this correctly? Fighting engagements worked out. Per turn. Each rounds usually work out. And so on. Fire and another opponent should fight you at the same time. There's formation modifiers, but this is mostly going to apply for the Napoleonic stuff, so like squares, etc. Not so much for the Civil War stuff. Charging, I don't think I used that as a modifier, did I? If the unit won the previous turn of the same engagement, then the bonus applies. But it doesn't say how to determine. Well, then I'm just going to say nobody won. If it's equal, then they cancel each other out. Nobody won. So we're just back to square one. That's how we'll do that. All right. That disorder marker stays on until the end of their turn, and this stays on till the end of the next Confederate turn. To sum up, I came close to getting rid of a unit here, and some of you might think, oh, this is a fairly bloodless system. It can be brutal. If you fail your break test, that's where you run into problems. And the last time I played this, a number of break tests did just that. It got pretty ugly. But position-wise, I'm going to say the Confederates are probably better positioned because of the fence. Now, you could argue that the Union has decent territory to hang back on, but hanging back is not going to benefit them. But hanging back really doesn't benefit either side if they both do it. So you kind of have to flub reality a little bit and pretty much make at least one side the attacker and one the defender, or it just doesn't work out. I've kind of had, even though the Confederates moved first, it's kind of turned into the Union as the attacker and the Confederates as the defender, but only because of this fence. We're fond of the fence. Fence advantage, remember? All right, so that's that. We've got all these guys serving no purpose currently because he keeps failing the command role. But everything else is working out all right. So that is a choppy, very, very choppy run through of some Epic Battles black powder stuff. Obviously, not a video to watch if you want to learn how to play the game because I'm still fairly new to the system myself, and but it's decent enough rule set from what I've gathered, and you know, it satisfies for the moment till the next thing, right? All right, guys, I think that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to go outside and enjoy the day. Talk to you later.